This video is brought to you by my patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your generous support in funding this channel and keeping it up and running. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gavony Township, the show where it's not about me and my decks, it is about you and your decks, whether you're a content creator that I'm collaborating with, whether you're one of my patrons on Patreon that gets a monthly perk, or whether you're someone that's won one of my Facebook or Twitter giveaways. For this episode, we've got Abzkaban, who is a patron of mine on Patreon. Submitted this Ghave Guru of Spores deck quite a while ago. Didn't get a great game with it, so here I am redoing that game, doing an additional one. Pseudo Tesla says Opus Thief. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and taking a look at this opening hand here. We've got 3 mana, we've got Devoted Druid, which can definitely do a lot of combos as well. And we've got the Demonic Tutor, so I am definitely going to keep this hand here. I think this one should be pretty good. Now, let me just double check here. Do I have the other combo piece? I don't see it in here. There's a white card that combos with Devoted Druid. Not seeing that in here, and that's okay, honestly. That is a-okay. But that'd be a great thing that we could use with Demonic Tutor to grab. Let's see what happens here. So, we've got that Demonic Tutor. We've got Devoted Druid. Yeah, this is a little interesting here. So we can use, let's say we have Ghave. We can use an ability to sacrifice a creature, put a +1 counter on target creature. So this is, you know, with Devoted Druid, it becomes a free sack outlet. That's all it does, though. It just moves a +1/+1 counter and does it do anything else? Well, no, it moves a +1/+1 counter. That's all it does, and creates a mana. So if we can have something like doubles up the +1/+1 counters that are being generated, we can go up in mana. So if we find, like again, just a counter doubler with Devoted Druid, we can go up in mana with our sacrifice outlet. We'd have to actually remove a counter, create the token. We actually might need more than that. We drew into the Verdant Catacombs here. I think we're going to start off by playing the Godless Shrine here tapped. So that way we get that onto the battlefield. We can use the Verdant Catacombs to grab a land later on. So Mystic Remora here, Pseudo Tesla has to decide whether or not they want to pay for that cumulative upkeep. That's one of the big reasons why I'm not a huge fan of playing it out on turn 1. I think it's much better played out on turn 2, because that's when people will start actually casting stuff. Turn 1, some people will just take that off, and it doesn't really affect things all that much. Alright, so next turn, we can go for that Devoted Druid. I kind of like that idea. I think I will go for that Verdant Catacomb. Do I have some of the other lands in here? I don't see those, right? Yeah. I will go for one of the shock lands or something with the Verdant Catacombs. We can even go for one of the forests. I don't know how much black mana we'll need. We already have 3 black sources, so the Verdant Catacombs, you know, do we want to grab a green-white land? That actually might make more sense here. Let's go ahead and go for the Verdant Catacombs, grabbing the Temple Garden untapped, and then going for the Devoted Druid. So 3 visits here is going to go ahead and trigger the Mystic Remora, so that's going to be Pseudo Tesla's first card draw off of this permanent. So, not too bad so far. Yeah, for us, let me think here. Next turn, I do like that Devoted Druid idea because, at the very least, it gives us extra mana. Yeah, I kind of like that one. And let me just double check over here. Remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature you control. Okay, yeah, so let me go ahead and read off the commander. That way we know what we're playing with, what we're working with. That is going to be Ghave Guru of Spores. 5 mana for a legendary 0/0 fungus shaman that enters the battlefield with 5 +1/+1 counters on it. We can pay a mana, remove a +1/+1 counter from a creature we control to create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. Or we can pay 1 mana, sacrifice a creature to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It could be our creature, it could be somebody else's, wherever we would like. So there's a lot of things you can do with Ghave. Normally this deck works this way. You have a bunch of permanents that are pretty good with Ghave normally, and then you just accidentally get a combination of cards that allows you to win the game with an infinite combo. So Ghave is like the commander for accidentally comboing off. There's one that I like more, but I'm not going to talk about it. I think Ghave here is actually pretty good. Alright, so Creven here, getting down the Soul Ring. They've got 2 mana left over in addition to their Soul Ring. This will trigger the Mystic Remora for a Pseudo Tesla as well. They also, you know, were able to draw a card off of the Mana Crypt. We're going to go and see the Whispering Madness here. It's going to allow everybody to discard their hand and draw 9 cards. So Pseudo Tesla is the only one that's not going to be gaining as much value from it, but Creven's definitely going to be gaining the most as a result. So, you know what? I mean, these cards are great, but I'm okay getting rid of them. We draw into 9 cards. What do we got here? What do we have? We've got Young Wolf. There's a lot of Undying combos that we can go for. We've got Survival of the Fittest as well. We've got the Phyrexian Altar. And you know what? I think Young Wolf and Phyrexian Altar should be enough pieces. Let me see here. We get down the Phyrexian Altar. And we go for... I want to make sure I'm doing the math here right in my head. Get down the Phyrexian Altar. We have the Young Wolf. We've got our commander. We sacrifice the Young Wolf. It undies. We use that mana we just generated to remove the counter, making a sapperling with our commander. Yeah, so we create infinite tokens. We can take those infinite tokens and turn it into infinite mana with Phyrexian Altar. From there, we can go for Mikaeus. We can discard... Hold on a second. We can discard the survival of... We can discard the Mikaeus to the survival of the fittest. Or, we can use the Diabolic Intent. That's probably even better. We Diabolic Intent the Young Wolf. Yeah, this seems pretty good here. So what we're planning on doing here is we're trying to ramp into mana as quickly as possible. So we're going to go ahead and draw a card for our turn. We draw into a swamp. I want to have a green source here. That's going to be pretty important. Let me just make sure I read this. Enchant Forest. Choose a color. We have to tap for that color. Okay. So, the fact that Godless Shrine's not a forest here means we lose out on that mana. And we can't actually play out the Young Wolf because that's also costing green mana. So we've got green mana. And we've got forests. So let's just go for this. We're going to go for the Temple Garden. We will definitely pay the 2 life. Say yes. And then we will enchant itself with the Utopia Sprawl. Tap it for green. And then from there, we're just going to discard a few lands, I think. We'll always yield to this. Well, no, I guess this is fine. We won't be triggering this infinitely. We'll say no. And we'll see if they pay the 2 mana for the Mystic Grimoire at this point. They're up to 11 cards in the hand, so I'm pretty sure they're just going to be okay with it going away. We're going to choose, let me see, green, white, white, black, black, green. So we've got pretty much everything we need. I think I'm going to go for green here because we were kind of bottlenecked on green during that turn. So maybe we're going to get some green here, and that should help us out. And then after that, we're just going to yield until our next turn. So we've got 8 cards in the hand. We're just going to discard, I think, the Swamp. We've got the Phyrexian Tower. That seems a little bit more useful. And obviously the Overgrown Tomb is going to be more useful, I think, than a basic. Alright, so they are going to let that Mystic Grimoire go away. They've got the 2 mana, 12 cards in hand. So that is quite an amount. They've got already an Aftermath card in the graveyard here. This is the memory. It allows them to wheel. Forces everybody to go down to 7 cards, but they have to have how much mana? 6 mana in order to do that. So they're going to go attack Creven 805. So yeah, we're playing our commander. We've already talked about this commander. We've talked about what this deck does, and that's going to be a lot of comboing. Currently, I've got the Young Wolf, Phyrexian Altar combo in hand, generating infinite mana, going for that Diabolic Intent. We can find, what can we find with that infinite mana? Infinite mana, we can go for, hold on a second. Can we go for, yeah, we can go for the Blood Artist. I mean, that's pretty simple. We go for Blood Artist and keep doing the combo, and then we just, hit everybody. Is there another one? Actually, do we have the other one as well? I don't see the other one. There's one that makes each opponent lose life. You don't actually have to target them. I don't see that one, so we're just going to go for the Blood Artist, I think. It's most likely what we're going to go for here. Alright, so we've talked about us. Let's go talk about Pseudo Tesla. Pseudo Tesla, for their commander, they are playing Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow. 3 mana for a legendary 1/3 human ninja with Commander Ninjutsu for 2, so they can pay 2 mana and return an unblocked attacker they control to their hand. To put this card onto the battlefield from your hand or the command zone, tapped and attacking. It says, whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's converted mana cost. So, not only do they get to draw cards per ninja that deals damage to them, they also make each opponent lose life equal to the converted mana cost of the card that they're drawing that way. So, this can really put a very fast clock on you and on all of the opponents of this deck. So, we're hoping that we don't get to see this one do too much craziness. And that's definitely one of the big reasons I think they brought this one. We asked for the strong decks. Bring your strong deck. So, Yuriko is definitely a pretty strong ninja tribal deck. I'm sure they're also going to be playing cards that have big CMCs that they can actually cast for less. So cards with Delve, cards with, I don't think there's anything with Convoke except for like colorless cards that don't really matter. Well, actually there is Obelisk of Erd. That's actually pretty good if you're playing Ninja Tribal. You might as well give ninjas +2/+2 and you can almost always just cast it for, 1 or 2 mana since you'll probably have a ton of ninjas out there anyways. So, yeah, that's pretty strong. Group Hug here is our second opponent. They're playing Angus Mackenzie. 3 mana for a legendary 2/2 human cleric with the ability that they can pay 3 mana and tap Angus to prevent all combat damage that we dealt this turn. Activate this ability only before the combat damage step. So Angus can really do a lot of good things. I know because I built Angus myself. Angus is a really, really great card. So Smothering Tithe here is going to trigger. We will not pay the 2 mana. We're going to allow them to have yet another treasure token. We have no issues with that. If this Yuriko deck, so we'll say no. If this Yuriko deck decides to go for that wheel from their graveyard, that will give the Smothering Tithe opponent a lot of clues. Alright, so here we can go for 4 mana. We've got Phyrexian Altar and Young Wolf. I don't want to actually play out both because then our opponents will see that we've got it ready to go. So what I think I'd like to do instead is probably getting out the Phyrexian Altar seems reasonable. You know, maybe actually the Survival of the Fittest, maybe try to get out some of the answers that are in our opponent's hands. You know, it doesn't sound too bad, actually. So why don't we do this? We're going to go and play down the Overgrown Tomb, and we will, do we want to pay the 2 life here? I say yeah, let's go ahead and pay the 2 life. Say yeah. So we're going to go ahead and play down, let me see here. We're going to go and tap, so we're going to tap 1 here, and then this one for... I guess I can tap it for white and then just use the green. So we've got, you know, 1 mana left over of everything. So if we want to do something else, we've got that available to us. If we have a something that's 1 mana. Looks like we might see a counter spell here from Group Hug on the Survival. This is a very, you know, high-ranking card. So at least we get a counter spell out of their hand. They're just going to go for a Growth Spiral. Okay, that's fine. We actually have no issues with that. Once we get down to the Survival of the Fittest, we don't actually have to use it right away. We can just wait and discard that Mikaeus for something else later on. I don't even know what I'd want to discard. What creature would I want to discard it for? Avacyn's Pilgrim's not too bad. Grand Abolisher seems okay. You know, we can prevent opponents from, you know, interacting with us. Yeah, I feel like we're going to go ahead and get down the Survival of the Fittest here. Get that down. And then what we can go for is use the Overgrown Tomb. Go ahead and discard something right away, or we can just wait. I kind of like the idea of waiting here. Yeah, let's just go ahead and wait. Next turn we can get down our commander, and with that out there, we can then the turn after that go for our combo. That seems pretty good. Not too bad. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty good. I don't think, if we were able to get that Phyrexian Altar out this turn, next turn we would only have the 5 mana, not enough to actually go for our commander. Although... nope, we wouldn't actually have enough. Yeah, so there's no way we could have gotten the combo out this coming turn. This is our best turn. All right, so they're going to go for, it looks like they're going to go for an extra turn here with the Temporal Mastery. It will trigger the Smothering Tithe twice before their next turn. Looks like they already used both their treasures on that Growth Spiral though, so maybe this is not too bad of a deal. So Pseudo Tesla here getting to draw a couple of cards off of their creatures. They don't have the Yuriko out there yet, but I'm sure they're going to go for it at some point here. If they've got something like, I don't know, maybe Land, Mana Crypt, you know, Signet, then they could go for it. It would take a lot of cards to go for Yuriko this turn, but you know what? Actually, they could go for Memnite. They've got any other land. They can go for Memnite. It's going to not be blocked. And then they just ninjutsu their commander into play. That could probably be... yeah, it looks like they've got the land. We're going to see that commander ninjutsu. That means they're going to get 3 of those triggers. That could be a lot of life lost here. Yeah, that's going to be an issue. So next turn we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the Phyrexian Tower. 6 technically if we use the Young Wolf. But we have to pay 1 mana first, so that's still just 5. So not actually helping us out at all. They're going to attack all of these at us, so that is going to be a lot of damage. In addition to those abilities, they're also getting out their commander, I'm sure, right now, and getting 3 triggers there. So that could be pretty bad for us. Surprised they're not going over at Group Hug. I guess they've got a treasure, so they probably don't want to, you know, see them play like a Swords to Plowshares or something along those lines. That could be pretty bad. Having the Mikaeus in the hand, I think, is going to be pretty good for us. We can use the Survival of the Fittest later on to grab something even better. For right now, I feel like this is actually okay. Diabolic Intent will be great later on as well. Once we generate the infinite mana, we can use this, sacrificing the Young Wolf in order to find any card out of our graveyard. Ooh, Cyclonic Rift coming down. This one's okay for us. So this prevents that damage that will be dealt to us. And on top of that, we don't get those triggers. We don't see that Cyclonic Rift anymore. And yeah, a lot of great stuff here as a result of that. I am totally happy with that effect. So we're going to get down the Phyrexian Tower next turn, and then we can go for the Utopia Sprawl. So that means we'll have 4 mana next turn. We can go for the Phyrexian Altar and have 1 mana left over. Again, we could go for the Young Wolf. I don't think that's going to be helpful for us. So I'm not actually going to go for that in addition to the Phyrexian Altar. Again, because that would make our opponents just see right off the bat what we're doing. The question is, will we have enough mana the turn afterwards to actually do what we want to do with the Young Wolf? Let me see. Or are we kind of forced into playing it on the same turn? Yeah, and now at this point, we're just going to yield until our draw step because we no longer have anything we want to do. And I didn't want to use the Survival of the Fittest. That case in the hand actually gives us a little bit of backup because if we have that on the battlefield, we can use this to grab something else entirely different. This one has a lot of combo pieces that will work with Ghave. If something happens to our Young Wolf, I mean, that works as well. That's going to be a replacement for the Young Wolf in the combo. So we've got a little bit of versatility here. And besides that, we don't have any other creatures to, discard to the Survival of the Fittest. They're going to go and attack with the Memnite here. So Memnite can attack us. Looks like they're probably going to be ninjutsuing in their commander, I would assume. Yeah, they're going to go and ninjutsu that in. So we're only going to take 1 damage here, but that will get a trigger off the Yuriko. So let's see what they reveal. What are they revealing? They're going to reveal a Darkwater Catacomb. So no life loss for any of us. Group Hug here playing the Angus Mackenzie deck. I don't think they're playing Group Hug just because, like I said, strongest decks. Everybody bring their strongest decks. All right, Sage of Epiteer. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. Okay, so with this, they can... I'm not sure exactly why they're going for this one. Maybe they just want to have this... Oh, well, you know what? If they're continuing to ninjutsu cards in and out of the battlefield, they can get multiple ETBs of this card, and by doing that, they can choose what to put on top of the deck to be revealed from Yuriko. So, okay, that kind of makes sense. It does kind of make sense. A little weird, but I like it. I like the spice. Spice is nice. All right, so Angus Mackenzie, we have one ourselves. The deck that I have is based on trying to get a win with an alternate win condition as consistently as possible. I'm not playing any of the Laboratory Maniac effect cards in the deck, although there might be an argument to be made that it would streamline the deck to have 3 alternate win conditions on the same axis. I don't know how much it synergizes with the other alternate win conditions in the deck, but that's an option, I think, as well. All right, so right now, Group Hug, getting down the Smothering Tithe and then tapping out. Kind of a weird situation because you're about to generate more mana with the Smothering Tithe anyways. So might as well just keep up the extra mana on top of that. It looks like they probably just don't have any cards in hand they actually want to cast. So no matter how many treasures they have out there, they're not going to be interested in using it for responses or anything. I would assume. I mean, why else would you tap out mana when you're making treasures anyways? All right, so Dark Confidant is going to do the reverse of the Yuriko. They reveal a swamp, so they take 0 damage from their own card draw here. Smothering Tithe will create a treasure. And then for us, we've got... Again, like I said, we've got the Phyrexian Tower. We can get down the Utopia Sprawl, adding a mana as a result of that. We can go then for the Phyrexian Altar. And then from there, I'm not even sure what we decide to go for. I mean, there's a couple of options, but none of them seem all that enticing to me. Next turn, we can get down our commander. No, you know what? I do realize we have to go for Young Wolf this turn. We don't have any other options. We have to do it this way. Otherwise, we will not have enough mana next turn to start off the combo. So, it isn't great, but I think it's better than having to wait an additional turn. We've got Karmic Guide as well. So, let's see. Next turn, like, let's say something happens to... Actually, yeah, check this out. If something happens to our Phyrexian Altar or to our Young Wolf, we've got Karmic Guide, which can bring back either, obviously, the Young Wolf, or it can bring back the Viscera Seer. Well, actually, that doesn't work because we need the extra mana. Never mind. We will not pay 2 for the Smothering Tithe. Karmic Guide, though, I still like that card. I think that's going to be pretty good. We're going to go ahead and go to our main phase here. Play down the Phyrexian Tower. And then we'll play down the Utopia Sprawl. Yeah, we're going to go and choose... Let me see here. We've got plenty of black. I do kind of like having white mana. We do already have double white. I don't know how much that's necessary to have more than that. I think I want to have more green. So let's go and do this. Has to go in a forest. So let's put it onto the Temple Garden. Actually, no, we need the white. So let's put it on the Overgrown Tomb. So we're going to go Utopia Sprawl on the Overgrown Tomb. And then we're going to choose to get green mana from it. And thanks to that, we can then go for tapping this for black and green, tapping this for a colorless, and actually hold on a second. I did say I needed to go for the Young Wolf, right? Yeah, so I need to do this a little differently. So we can tap this actually just for white, and then just play out the Young Wolf first. Play out the Young Wolf, and then play out the Friction Altar. Yeah, that should be pretty good here. We'll just go ahead and pass the turn. So we technically can sacrifice our Young Wolf and have it undie. However, that generates mana for us, and we need to have that mana on our next turn in order to use the ability from Ghave. If we don't have that mana out there, then our next best option is just to go for the Karmic Guide to bring back something from the graveyard. So not a ton of great options, honestly. Thankfully, we do already have quite a number of cards already in the graveyard. Smothering Tithe here going to trigger again. Group Hug already has 2 treasures. I see them making a 3rd one here, so that's going to be a 3rd one for them. If someone tries to exile our Young Wolf, we will definitely sacrifice it in response. Maybe someone has something that will exile everything on the board. We'll definitely go for, sacrificing it twice, because this being in the graveyard certainly is better than it being exiled and being gone forever. So, I think this will work out pretty well for us. Pseudo Tesla, we talked about them. We talked about Group Hug. I think this is going to be... What is this deck? This is going to be a control deck, from what I can tell. It looks like it's a lot of control aspects. Yeah, I mean, it just looks like green, white, blue, good stuff at this point. I'm not exactly sure what it is, so we'll have to find out as this game goes on. When I built my Angus Mackenzie deck, it was with alternate win conditions, kind of playing a bunch of those. Playing that many alternate win conditions allowed you to kind of consistently win with one of those. It didn't work out so great in the season, but eventually, once I get through the first 32 decks, I want to revisit some of the decks that didn't do so well in the first playthrough and try to redo them and see if I can get them a little bit better. So that's Group Hug. That's their deck. Like I said, I'm not sure what we'll be seeing, but I'm sure there's plenty of good things there. We've got 2 1/1s coming towards us. I don't think we're going to block with the Undying Wolf. Young Wolf, I think, is going to be good to keep out here because, again, we need to go for that combo next turn. I don't know if any of our opponents actually see the combo coming through, but if they don't, that's okay with us because this is going to work out so that we can combo off. So we'll see if we get there. I'm not entirely sure if our opponents will allow us to do that. Ninjutsu on the Sage of Epicure. Again, 3 damage coming in towards us. When it deals damage, they'll be able to create a copy of it. So they're going to go ahead and create a copy and get 2 triggers off of Yuriko. Okay, this is not too bad, I think. We lost 0 life from the Swamp being revealed. 1 life from the Changeling Outcast being revealed. And then... that's it. So just 2 triggers. I forgot there was just 2. They created a token from the Mist Syndicate Naga. Oh my gosh, that is so tough to say. All right, so those are the first 2. They went ahead and went for the Changeling Outcast. We've talked about our first 2 opponents. Let's go and talk about our 3rd opponent, Creven 805, playing the partners Timna the Weaver, and Crom Ludovic Opus. So these 2 don't have partner with. They just have the regular partner ability, so they can partner with anything, and they chose to partner these 2 together. So Timna the Weaver, 3 mana for a legendary 2/2 human cleric with lifelink and partner that says at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may pay X life, where X is the number of opponents that were dealt combat damage this turn. If you do, draw X cards. The other ability here is Crom Ludovic's Opus, 5 mana for a legendary 4/4 zombie horror with flying and haste, and obviously partner, that says whenever an opponent casts their 2nd spell each turn, draw a card. And so those 2 together, I don't know, this might be like a draw-centric deck, so a deck all about drawing cards. I mean, they already played, this was the Cyclonic Rift. That one's a pretty good card to have. Ooh, Time Twister. That one's a bit of an issue. We do have both of our combo pieces out there, which is nice. Well, let's see if Creven here has a response to this, because again, this is going to generate a ton of Smothering Tithe tokens for Group Hug. They're going to go for Notion Thief. This allows them to kill Group Hug. Because, hold on a second here, they draw that card and you draw a card, and then it's a May effect. So Group Hug here could have killed Creven. Interesting choice here, because Group Hug just scooped it up when they could have killed a player. As a result, they would have lost all the cards in their hand, of course. But yeah, this is fine with us. I mean, this is pretty great. Kind of weird how this is playing out, but I don't know if it really matters. Us having no cards in hand doesn't really help us or hurt us in the combo department. So let's see if anybody has a response here. Technically, they could have killed you. Could have killed you. If they keep pressing yes to Consecrated Sphinx, you are forced to draw every card. Now, currently, Creven does have mana, I'm sure, to have a response to their own creature from Notion Thief. However, this does allow them to keep using that Consecrated Sphinx, and they'll still have a bunch of triggers on the stack and then draw cards. So this is kind of weird. There's not really a universe where this exact situation would have come out. I mean, right now we're seeing Pseudo Tesla potentially having an answer. This could be pretty weird. So Creven here says, that's a very true point. Yeah, so they kind of scooped right before they could kill somebody. That's not something that usually happens. But this is fine. I think this is good. We're definitely seeing the power of this deck if we can manage to combo out on our next turn. Two opponents, both with blue and with mana open, might mean we need to wait on the combo. We'll see. I just think that's poor sportsmanship to GG when your big play don't work. Yeah, I agree with Creven here, Creven 805. I mean, I also asked for nobody to concede, so that's doubly bad. Yeah, let's go to our turn here. I'm hoping we draw into a land. If we draw into a land, that allows us to have a little bit of an answer. All right, so now it's going to go to Creven's turn. I'm sorry, I thought it was their turn when they did this thing. But the advantage now is that they might have enough stuff that they want to cast, that they'll tap out all their mana, cast all that cool stuff out there. They don't have any red mana or any white mana still. So currently they just only have blue and black mana. So this is looking kind of grim for them. They can't cast either of their commanders. And they get down a Tarnished Citadel, which allows them to get down one of them. They're going to go for a Dark Ritual, allowing them to have some extra mana here, which makes me think they're planning on using it all. Planning on using all of their mana. They're going to go for Burning Inquiry. Again, that doesn't matter all that much for us, because not a ton of the cards in their hand really matter to us here. Alright, so yeah, at least we have a better chance of drawing into lands. Right now we have a 0% chance. This at least gives us like a 1%, whatever. Cyclonic Rift on the Notion Thief. That's pretty good. Ooh, Dispel. Not that we have anything that we can do to that, I think. Yeah, so the Cyclonic Rift is going to get countered. Burning Inquiry, I'm sorry, I forgot about the Notion Thief out there. That's going to give him a lot of cards in hand. And now that Burning Inquiry is going to make us just lose 3 cards. So, again, doesn't really impact our position to win here. We still have the Mikaeus, the Unhallowed, the Grave Pact out there, so we can get rid of all of the creatures from our opponent's sides of the battlefield. And depending on what we draw into, I mean, even just generating infinite tokens, that's always pretty good. With the Grave Pact, in addition to that, we can also make every opponent sacrifice all their creatures. So I feel like we're going to be in a pretty great spot here. I'm hoping they play out their whole hand, or as much of it as possible, using as much mana. Now it makes sense why they went for that Dark Ritual. They're trying to use that before it gets discarded, so they can at least get the value off of that. What do they discard here randomly? They discarded, looks like, the Limdul's Vault, Negate, and Grim Monolith. And over here, what's this over here? They've got Slitherblade, Higuri, the Stillwind, and a Swamp. Okay, so this is fine. I mean, we do lose the Karmic Guide and the Diabolic Intent. Both of those were allowing us to see more of our deck or graveyard than before, but this is fine as well. Rhystic Study coming down for Creven, that's fine as well. We're not planning on casting a ton of things next turn, and even if we do, I'm sure we'll have enough mana to cast it all. Yeah, Mystic Remora, that's fine too. We'll pay for both. Okay, that's if we can manage to do our combo here, and it looks like we will because Creven only has colorless mana left over. I have a feeling we're going to be able to go for our combo here, generating infinite tokens, making all of our opponents sacrifice tokens. At least it's something, right? Generating infinite mana with Mikaeus. I mean, it's better than nothing, is the way I see it. If we draw into something good, we'll use that to hopefully win. But even then, I think having infinite tokens out there, it's going to be a good step in the right direction. All right. Pseudo Tesla says, Holly, we lived. Alright, we draw into a Knight of Autumn. This is not a human, so we can destroy all artifacts and enchantments and gain 4 life infinitely. So we can gain infinite life, destroy all creatures, destroy all our artifacts, destroy all enchantments. That still leaves Creven with 7 cards in hand and not a whole lot left besides that. But at least having infinite life will be pretty good. Yeah, I kind of like that. Is there anything in the graveyard we can play? No, there isn't. Alright, so let's go and go for our combo here. So we're going to go ahead and play out Ghave. 1, 2. We'll tap this for black and green. And then we've got the Godless Shrine, Temple Garden. Alright, so this should be pretty good here. Rhystic Study. This is the only one we will not pay for. Because if we lose this mana, then we can't actually combo out right now. We have to use this mana right now for the comboing purposes. Alright, so we're going to go and see if they've got a response here to our Ghave. Any counter spells? We're going to say no to the Ristic Study, and then we'll see if we have anything else we want to go for. Yeah, gaining 4 life, destroying all artifacts and enchantments that we don't control. It's something, right? It's better than nothing, so we'll hopefully be able to go from that there. Yeah, this is fine. I like this. If we get rid of all the artifacts and enchantments, Creven only have, I think, technically like 5 mana available. No, 6 mana available, thanks to the Ancient Tomb. They're going to go for a Pact of Negation on Ghave here. And this is not ideal, but I think it's fine. I think it's okay. Next turn, we're probably going to play out a bunch of cards from our hand. Maybe the Knight of Autumn or something. And we don't want to put those counters on it because of Mikaeus. Probably going to be using that to destroy an artifact or enchantment. Yeah, this is fine. This is totally fine here. This one allows us to draw cards, in our draw step, but we'll only get 1, and that is it. We get 1 card per turn, and then no more. So now we're going over to Pseudo Tesla. I have a feeling they're going to attack them now because they've got 7 cards in hand. We can't really do a whole lot here. Pact of Negation on us means that they have to pay, for that pact on their upkeep. Who was it? Was it yeah, it was Creven here. So at least the person with the most cards in hand was the one who had the pact. So it's not going to be as bad for the rest of us. Let's see what Pseudo Tesla decides to go for here. And I think if Creven decides to block with either one of their 2 creatures, it's going to be a win. Looks like they decide still to attack us all with all those creatures. I guess they're just trying to get as many triggers. Well, I guess they don't want their creatures to die. Well, they're going to attack them with this unblockable one, but the ones that can be blocked, they are going to attack over at us. And I guess technically they're attacking with a Memnite, since trading either the Memnite for either one of these, that's going to be fine too. So they're going to attack the 3 ninjas over at us, and the other 2, well, I guess technically this is a ninja as well. Let's see if Creven has any answers here, and obviously let's see if Pseudo Tesla has any ninjutsu cards. I have a feeling they do. They probably want to ninjutsu this Memnite after it doesn't get blocked. They are going to block here with the Dark Confidant. I guess they don't really need that anymore. They are at 24 life. They probably don't want the life going down too much lower. So yeah, we'll take 7 here, going down to 23, and then we'll see 4 triggers from Yuriko. Yep, that's going to be pretty bad. Now 2 more copies of the Mist Syndicate Naga. Hey, I got it that time. Alright, so next turn, I think we're going to go for that Knight of Autumn. We get that down with the 4 life ability. It's something. I don't even know. Does the 4 life matter all that much? Or do we want to get rid of an enchantment instead? I don't even know. I think maybe getting rid of that Ristic Study could be okay. We're going to go and always yield to this and always yield to this. Let's see what they revealed here. That's from the graveyard. Let's go and see what they revealed. They revealed the Cavern Harpy, Treachery. Let me see. They've already done these cards, I believe. Mox Amber, Goodle Lurker. Okay. So we're down to 15. Same thing with Creven. Down to 15. Yeah, now that I think about it, that Knight of Autumn might actually be pretty good. Creven here, I think they've got to deal with Pseudo Tesla. Otherwise, we're going to be... This is almost like a Mexican standoff, because if they don't deal with us, we combo out and kill both of them. If they do deal with us, they have fewer resources to deal with Pseudo Tesla, who's going to actively kill them and us. So, in a way, it's like, the enemy of their enemy is their enemy and is their friend at the same time. So they're kind of in a rough spot here, Creven. Whereas Pseudo Tesla and ourselves, we're both kind of like, we're hitting everybody at the same time. It's just Creven here who has to decide who to actually target and who to actually hit. They're going to go for the Mox Amber. Here, Pseudo Tesla is going to go for the Mox Amber. That gives them a little extra mana. This 3 mana here is just for ninjutsu. I don't have any other abilities. Yeah, let's see if they pay the 1 mana for the Ristic Study. It looks like they're not paying for it. I guess otherwise, why would you play out the Mox Amber if you don't have anything else you'd want to play? And it looks like both of the Cyclonic Rifts that we were seeing from both of our opponents, they're both in graveyards currently. Here's this one, and then here's this one. So there's 2 Cyclonic Rifts already gone. We don't have to worry about that anymore. We do have to worry about like Snapcaster Mage. Well, that doesn't even work because you can't overload with Flashback. You have to return it to your hand. So Archaeomancer, maybe we have an Archaeomancer. Treachery coming down, going to target the Notion Thief. All right, so this will shut down the Ristic Study and the Mystic Remora. It will also untap the 5 lands for Pseudo Tesla, so they can cast out more cards here. I think right now, it's our 2 opponents both seem kind of crazy powerful. We don't really have that much available to us. So what do we decide to go for here? Yeah, I don't know. We really, again, we lost, actually even you combine with the Survival of the Fittest, we lost the 3 cards we most did not want to lose. I think if we had kept any one of these 3 cards, we would have been in a much, much better position because we would have had way more mana available to us to, you know, use that infinite mana to do extra things. So, for example, the Karmic Guide could bring back the Viscera Seer. Suddenly we go for infinite, you know, after we make those infinite, you know, Saplings, suddenly we can scry infinitely, and then we can put exactly what we want on top. So let's see what the Treachery does here. If I were Creven, I'd be hoping to draw into a board wipe. They are playing red, they are playing white, and black. Blue doesn't have as many, but red, white, and black definitely does have plenty of board wipes. So if I were them, that's what I would be trying to go for. Trying to be going for a board wipe here. Getting rid of all the creatures should be pretty good. Creven is up to 11 cards in hand. Don't have to worry about them doing anything too crazy, though. It's not the fully built one. This is my casual deck. Didn't have enough for card rent this month, says Pseudo Tesla. Yeah, so this is looking pretty gross. For right now, I think we're just going to keep trying to use... Dig Through Time. So here, they're going to get both of those triggers from the Rhystic Study and the Mystic Remora. I'm hoping that Creven has both of these auto set to no. Because that's going to allow them, if they choose to draw cards, that's going to give more cards for Pseudo Tesla to draw into. So they're at 6 cards right now. Let's see if they turned off those yields. And Creven here decides to say no here. Oh, they said yes, giving Pseudo Tesla another card. So that's giving them a lot of cards here. Creven says he. Yeah, this is making it harder for us to deal with them. I'm not sure what's happening here. This might be game over for us. And I mean, it's just been a very strange sequence of plays. The Smothering Tithe into the Wheel play was where it all started to go down. Although I guess Yuriko deck's also pretty fast. Creven says, "You got this one, bud. Well played." Yeah, I mean, things are looking not so great. Things are looking pretty bad. These are both May abilities, I believe. Yeah, they're both May abilities. Those 2 enchantments are both May abilities. Why don't you just say no? So I'm just going to ask him here. Maybe they don't realize that they can say no here to both of these abilities. Brainstorm here, allowing them to draw 3 and then put 2 cards on top. So they can put whatever big things they want to trigger with the Yuriko next turn. So they can put 1 card. Obviously, one of those other cards are going to draw into. And I guess at the same time, with the Rhystic Study and the Mystic Remora, things are not looking too great either. They're going to go ahead and scoop it up. So they're gone. So now it is 1v1. The player at 15 life versus the Yuriko deck. I just don't see this really working out for us very well. So I think we're going to go for the Knight of Autumn, gain 4 life, go up to 19, and then maybe have blockers. I guess we could also, let me see here, if we go for the Knight of Autumn. Actually, check this out. We can go for, well, they got the Soul Ring here. We're just so behind on mana and cards and board state. I mean, we're behind in every possible sense of the word. I just don't, this is a very, very uphill battle. But we will play it out till the very end. Diabolic Intent, so they're going to go ahead and tutor something from their deck. What would be the worst possible card for them to get here? Probably an extra turn spell. Like, I don't know if there's one that you can pay for 4 mana. What would be a 4 mana extra turn spell? There has to be one, right? I'm sure there is. No, I can't think of one. There's one that costs triple blue. Actually, you know what? There is one. If they had it in the deck, it's the one that you make. You skip your untap step, but you do get an extra turn. They could totally cast that here, attack with both their Mist Syndicates, and that would definitely allow them to get one of those triggers at least. We'd probably block the other one with the Young Wolf and kill it. Yeah, we'd be in a pretty bad spot from there. Alright, so what do we go for now? Our commander costs too much. We've got the Canopy Vista, but we don't have enough basic land, so at least we can play that out there, I guess. No reason for us to use the Grave Pact. I think the 4 life might actually matter more here in this situation. Or we can go for the Mikaeus and get that out. Are any of these humans? This one is a human, so we can at least get rid of the Yuriko by playing out the Mikaeus here. We do have to sacrifice the Young Wolf to our Friction Altar, which means we have a little bit less mana for when we... How often do your games end like this? What exactly do you mean? What exactly do you mean? We'll put a little smiley face. and then an LOL. So we're going to go ahead, let me think here. If we go for the Grave Pact, so let me see here. We've got the Grave Pact, we get that down. We've got 1 mana left over. We can sacrifice the Young Wolf twice, get down the Knight of Autumn, gain 4 life. And we make our opponent sacrifice 2 creatures. Mostly they're going to be sacrificing 2 of the tokens. Then we take, that's not that great. I like the Machias idea too because we get 2 blockers. So we have the Young Wolf and the Machias. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we just take 2 of these. I mean, that's not that great either. I'd like to not sacrifice the Young Wolf. And you know what? I'm going to do that. I am going to go ahead and go for that. So let's go ahead and try this. Black. Oh, I don't have enough black mana for the Grave Pact here. Unless I sacrifice the Young Wolf. Oh, man. Yeah, let's just go for the Knight of Autumn. I mean, that's another blocker. And at least it, you know, I don't even know what I'm trying to do at this point. I'm just trying to survive. Just trying to survive here. And it's not doing too great. But at least you gotta give it your best shot, right? So we'll go ahead and get this out there. I mean, technically we can destroy the Soul Ring, but is that 2 mana going to really matter? Probably not. We're going to go and choose to gain 4 life here. Going up to 19. We can use the Knight of Autumn for mana right away. But again, I don't see a real, big reason to go for that here. We don't have any other 3-drops in the hand that we want to go for. Next turn, though, we can have, we can sacrifice the Knight of Autumn to the Phyrexian Altar. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. That is enough for our commander to get the combo back on the battlefield. So let's see how this happens on this next turn. Do they decide to attack with everything and allow us to block with the Knight of Autumn? That's going to be a big deal here. I mean, I'd like to, at the same time, we could potentially draw into a land. And then, it's better to block because then we have a better chance of surviving. What's going on here? What's happening? They have to sacrifice a creature in order to cast something? What are they trying to cast? Elder Deep Fiend. Tapping up to 4 target permanents. So our 2 lands and our 2 creatures. So we don't have those blockers anyways. This is at the end step. Yeah, this is fine. This is okay. This is okay. Elder Deep Fiend coming down. They're going to go and have, let me see, that's 12 plus 5. I mean, that's 17 damage. They can just get out their commander as well, and that should be game. They can just hard cast their commander. They don't even have to ninjutsu it out here. We do have the ability to block or sacrifice the Young Wolf. Sacrificing the Young Wolf and then block something. We can block the Elder Deep Fiend. However, that does make us lose our Young Wolf. So it's going to be a little bit harder from there to keep doing what we want to go for. I mean, we're kind of still in it. Let's see if they've got anything else they'd like to do. I think we've got to sacrifice the Young Wolf here. So we're going to go ahead and sacrifice a creature to add white mana. Sacrificing the Young Wolf. Going to go ahead and let it undie. We're going to block the 5/6. So at the very least, that allows us to keep a little bit more life. And again, that Yuriko could come down. You're just ninjutsuing out one of the other creatures. And very simply killing us from the ability there. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and go to the block. So we'll go ahead and block here from the Elder Deep Fiend. And we're going to give ourselves the best possible chance to win here. We gained as much life. We had as many blockers as we could. So it's all up to this. Can we manage to get there? I think if we had gone for, sacrificing the Young Wolf twice, I don't think we would have enough mana to go for the Machias and for the Knight of Autumn. We would have still been, I think 2 or 3 short. So let's see what's going to happen. They're going to go ahead and trigger the Mist Syndicate Naga. We're going to go down to 7. So, hey, this is actually okay with us. Not that we have that much of a great board state, but at least we survive. And I'm surprised they didn't go for their commander. I'm sure they would have probably won the game if they had. Unless they've got something else up their sleeve here for winning the game right away. We're at 7 life, so it's going to have to be something pretty good in a blue and black deck. Maybe a Torment of Hailfire. That could be it. Torment of Hailfire would definitely kill us here. We could discard both of those cards in our hand. Okay, Temporal Trespass, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be, that is game over for sure. We'll go ahead and give them the old GG and allow them to attack. Alright, so Narset's Reversal, they're gonna be able to do that twice here. But yeah, that's fine. They're gonna gain a bunch of turns. We're gonna go ahead and just yield here. Let them get their satisfying win. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So Abzkaban does have a great deck. I think we really had a very weird situation. It was kind of a weird slew of chaotic energy, and we just, you know, that just happens sometimes. Sometimes Pseudo Tesla says, will do, GG. But yeah, sometimes it just happens that way. You just try your best, and you just can't get there. So this was a lot of fun. I still enjoy playing this deck. This deck is actually really good. It just so happened, though, you know, with two opponents, you know, getting out of the game, just sacrificing themselves, not much you can do about that. So anyways, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Gavony Township. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Stay awesome.